Hi, I'm Jacqueline Rinksmeyer, Executive Director of the Greater Medina Chamber of Commerce. Thank you for joining us today to watch our annual Candidates Forum. We do this event in partnership with Medina TV, and I'm here today with General Manager Jared Fry.
Thank you, Jacqueline. You will notice today, as Jacqueline and I do not have our mask on, and as I interview these candidates, I will not be wearing a mask, nor will the candidates. We are following all the Department of Health guidelines in regards to spatial distancing, and with being on air and doing a broadcast, masks are not required.
All candidates in local contested races were invited to participate in these interviews. This forum is designed to inform the voting public of their choices in the upcoming election.
The views and opinions stated by the candidates during the course of these interviews are not necessarily those of Medina TV and the Greater Medina Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for exercising your right to vote in the upcoming election. Enjoy the Candidates Forum.
Joining us now in studio for our Candidates Forum is candidate for Medina County Prosecutor, that's Dean Holman. Dean, thank you so much for joining us here today.
You're welcome. Good to be here.
Yeah, well, why don't you first start and tell the viewers a little bit about yourself?
I was the county prosecutor in Medina for 28 years. Prior to that, I was an assistant prosecutor in Medina County and in Huron County. I graduated from the University of Akron School of Law. Since 2016, I've been working in Lorain County as an assistant prosecutor. I also, in my past, had a private practice in Brunswick for 12 years. I'm active in the community and service organizations, past president in the Brunswick Optimist Clubs. I've been a member of the club since 1991. We help children and child victims of cancer. I've been active in the Brunswick Salvation Army in the past, active in the Chamber in the past, active with the Cleveland Baseball Federation in the past. I have a passion for helping the community and a passion for justice.
Oh, that's great. And great accolades there that you just told us about. Tell us a little bit about the role of the county prosecutor.
Well, the role of the county prosecutor is to lead by example and set the tone of the office, both in character and integrity and in aggressive, fair prosecution. And that's what I did for 28 years. My office was respected around the state. I'm proud of the fact we took on the tough cases and won them in a fair and aggressive manner. I'm proud of the fact that because of that, I was named special prosecutor in 9 counties. I was named by my peers Ohio Prosecutor of the Year in 2011. My role was to lead the office and set the tone.
Now, to clarify for the viewers, explain kind of what the special prosecutor does.
A special prosecutor goes into a county, is appointed by the judges in another county, and goes in and handles a case because the county prosecutor in that county has a conflict. Or may know a witness or somebody, or may know the victim, or be related to somebody. So it's to avoid conflicts and to have fairness in the system. And I was part of a group of prosecutors back in 1991 who came up with a system of giving mutual aid to each other's counties, so special prosecutors could serve without costing the taxpayers money. So I would serve in other counties, and when I needed a special prosecutor in Medina County, they would come here to Medina County and not charge the county a fee. So it saved the county hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Oh, great. What would you see as the biggest issue that's facing the prosecutor's office today?
In Medina County?
Yes, correct.
I think the biggest issue in my mind is to keep vigilant against violent crime getting a toehold in Medina County. Since 2016, I've reflected on my policies I had when I was Medina County Prosecutor from 1989 through 2016. And while working in Lorain County, our neighbors to the northwest, I've seen what violence can do to good communities. I've seen what gun violence could do to good communities, and violence of every kind. And we were correct. I was correct to set the tone in the office to be vigilant and aggressive against gun violence, to add firearm specs in every case we can. And I would do so in the future. And drugs, of course, is a major problem. You know, I've been reviewing the docket, and the drug cases have exploded.
So what would you say, well, I guess twofold. What is your ambition Why do you want to run this time around? What is your drive or motivation?
I have the same drive now I did back in the first time I ran in 1988. I have a passion for justice. I have a passion to help victims. And when I see someone victimized by crime, I feel a call to action. I want to help that victim. You know, when someone's the victim of a crime, it's one of the worst moments in their lives, then they need help. And that's why I started the Victim Assistance Program when I was elected. I started that program in 1989. It's still in existence today. And that program acts to help victims understand the process, be an advocate for victims, and help them be a better witness. You know, I want to be a prosecutor, again, county prosecutor, make a difference in people's lives, and helping victims is one way to do that. It's an honor to work with law enforcement. It's an honor to represent the state of Ohio in the courtroom in front of judges and juries.
Now, if elected, what would be, and you might have touched on this a little bit with your answers you just gave, but what would be 3 of the biggest things you would like to do if elected?
I plan on setting an aggressive tone, a more aggressive tone in the office. In going through the dockets, I have discovered that 50% of burglary cases are reduced. That means they're plea bargained down. When I was county prosecutor, it was around 20%. I think burglars should get a stiff sentence. And too many times I see that the burglary cases have been reduced, so I plan on being more aggressive on burglary cases. I plan on reinstituting training for police officers in the area of arrest, search and seizure, and how to avoid using excessive force. You know, when deadly force can be used. I plan on reinstituting training for townships and government officials. We used to put on training for zoning officials, zoning boards of appeals, zoning commissions, to help them do their role in a correct manner to keep them out of lawsuits. I also plan on instituting an annual fundraiser for the Victim Assistance Program so that we can help victims pay for uninsured expenses, psychological, counseling expenses, and medical expenses, maybe housing expenses. That's one thing I wanted to do if I had been reelected in 2016, and I plan on doing it this time.
Now, you touched on with some of your answers some of the issues that is the court faces now, and that's with the opioid addiction. But we also have different types of drugs. They cycle through different things, kind of step to the forefront. And then you also have social injustice and racial injustice. How do you look to approach those if elected?
Well, my view of law enforcement in this county, in my view of 28 years, is we are blessed to have excellent, well-trained law enforcement in this county. And I, in my time here, did not see and did not become aware of any targeting or any racial profiling. I saw law enforcement in this county bend over backwards to be fair to everyone. And one time, I remember an African American was stopped on I-71, and the court wanted to see the statistics of the racial mix of people stopped by that department, and they brought it to court, and they were right on. I mean, there was no evidence of disparate treatment of minorities at all.
Do you think that with the issues today socially, does that change how the prosecutor's office would work, or do you not see any change with that?
I work in a county now, in Lorain County, where there is large bodies of minority populations. And the prosecutor's office there works the same as the prosecutor's office worked under me in Medina County. And I'm sure the assistant prosecutors and the prosecutor's office work in that way now. Prosecutors do everything they can to be fair. If you focus on the evidence and make decisions on the evidence, they're fair decisions. So.
Exactly. Now, one of the other big issues that has come up, and it's the renovation project or the construction project of the new courthouse or the system here on the square. In terms of the prosecution office and your opinion as well, what are your thoughts on this project?
I don't think this is the right time to be engaging in such a large, expensive construction project. I just don't think a project that large is needed.
Now, in terms of course, with your background of being in there before, spacing, judges, all those things that have been brought up. Your thoughts on kind of those issues?
In 2016, I tried a death penalty case in Judge Kimbler's court. She did a great job presiding on that case. We had 50-plus witnesses. My feeling was the courtroom and courthouse was adequate to handle a case that large and other cases going on across the hall.
So do you see any adversity that is stepping into office that you would have to address right away in terms of either spacing? I know they're looking at new records retention, things of that nature. Anything that you see as a challenge coming into office?
No, I don't. I just don't. The decision to build or not is the commissioners. That's their prerogative. It's not the prosecutors. They'll make their decision. If I'm elected, my office will give them the best legal advice we can.
Great. And now speaking of that, in terms of your skills and leadership, what do you think you bring to the table that would be different than what your opponent does?
Well, what I bring to the table that's different from my opponent is I've tried hundreds of cases and supervised hundreds of cases, and as far as trial work, he has not tried a lot of cases. My knowledge, hasn't tried a case as county prosecutor. I've tried hundreds, and also there's a difference, and there's a contrast both in experience. There's a contrast in character and integrity. I have not been held in contempt for failing to pay child support. He has. I have not been sanctioned by the Ohio Supreme Court for failing to comply with continuing legal education requirements. My opponent's been sanctioned 3 times. He failed to honestly disclose property in bankruptcy court. We hold our prosecutors to a higher standard, and that's what I bring to the table, both experience and in character and integrity.
And we're speaking with Dean Holman, candidate for Medina County Prosecutor. And Dean, I'm going to give you this opportunity now to talk directly to the voters. So you can turn and look right at the camera and give one last speech or talk one more time to the voters.
Thank you. I would like to be elected your county prosecutor. I have a passion for justice. I have a passion to help the community. I have a passion to help victims. I believe the law is important. I put the law ahead of politics. I think justice is bipartisan. I ran a bipartisan office. I never asked a person what party that they belong to before I hired them. I never asked a victim what party they belong to before I gave them my best efforts. We all are entitled to justice. I would like to lead the prosecutor's office and represent the state of Ohio and help law enforcement keep Medina County safe. Please vote for Dean Holman this fall. Thank you.
Again, Dean Holman, candidate for Medina County Prosecutor. I usually always like to shake the candidate's hands. So we just got to kind of do an air elbow here or whatever. But I wish you the best of luck this November.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.